Hi there, I'm Michael Bovee with Consumer Recovery Network. Thanks for tuning in to DebtBytes, our YouTube channel. Today I want to talk about the cost and value and return from working with a nonprofit credit counseling agency. This is an agency, there's about 100 of them nationwide, that you can call up for free and talk to them about what you can get your monthly payments reduced to. Typically, they're going to work with credit cards and getting them enrolled in a debt management plan. What's in it for you? People in a situation to be on my channel, to be watching this video at all, because you can't afford your bills. And doing a process of elimination to discover what can work for you, what you can afford to do, what's in line with your goals, is not that difficult. It's actually only a few phone calls away. And I've often recommended that you start with a consumer credit counseling agency because it's the least confrontational approach to debt relief. What it is basically an agreement that is predetermined. The nonprofit agency will work with all of your creditors that they accept into the plan, mostly credit card banks, and get your monthly payment lowered due to interest rate concessions, right? So they can do that all on the phone with you. You can walk away from even an initial phone call, a consult with a nonprofit, with an exact to the penny quote of what your monthly payment would be on the plan. You're not enrolling in the plan, but you will know what it consists of, okay? And how long it would go. And inside of an hour, sometimes you can get all that information. Now, that is either affordable or it's not. So the first value in talking with one is determining whether or not it can work for you. Why would you do that? Well, because again, it's an agreement. It's already in place. You don't have to deal with debt collections. There's no risk of or exposure to aggressive collection activity like being sued and all that junk that goes along with not paying your bills, which is part of the settlement process. Or it's not bankruptcy, right? So it's the kinder, softer, gentler way and often affordable way for you to resolve your debt. But here's the thing, it might not be affordable. So you determine whether or not you can actually do it and why you would do it. And then if it can't work for you, you know that it can't. So that's just one other thing you can cross off your list. And frankly, that's peace of mind that you can't really pay for. It is the kind of thing that when you're stuck and you're in uncharted territory dealing with the fact that you've paid your bills on time all the time for your whole life, and suddenly now you're faced with the specter that that's not going to be the norm for you, then knowing that you didn't give up, knowing that you didn't, you crossed this off your available options list is kind of important psychologically and for your commitment to whatever it is that you do choose to do to get out of debt. So let's say it is, well, I can't do my credit counseling program that they quoted me, so now I have to do bankruptcy or I have to do settlement. What they charge to help you and or accommodate the repayment of your debts at a lower interest rate, it pays for itself for the most part. What they are legally allowed to charge, you have to understand that consolidating your debt through one of these nonprofit agencies is a heavily regulated process. It is governed at the federal level and at the state level. The regulation is intense, except for perhaps, at least fee regulation, is pretty intense, except for perhaps Alaska and Washington, D.C. But every other state, there is usually a cap, what you'll find on what they can charge. So, depending on your state law, they might charge $10 per account that you have enrolled in the plan per month and not to exceed $50. Or they might be capped at $25. Or your situation, these are nonprofit agencies. They don't pay taxes on their income. One of the reasons that they get away with not paying taxes on their income is because they provide a public service. Most of that is delineated by their education content, so you can talk with one, get budgeting advice for free at all times. And then on these debt management plans, you find that if your situation is such, your hardship is so much that there's little, if any, left over in your budget, they actually offer free services too. So talking to one, it's free, get a consult, get the quote, and then your services might actually not cost you anything, right? But the fees can vary. The value in that is pretty clear, okay? If you're going along paying your credit card bills and you don't use an outside service and you just pay what you're paying right now and your minimums, your credit card statements today will tell you how long it's going to take you to pay that bill off. It could be 20 years. So consolidating that time down to 5 or less, because these types of debt management plans through the nonprofits cannot exceed 60 months, or no plan can be built with anything more than 60 months. That's law. Banks have to follow that. So you're taking 15 years off the cycle of your debt. Okay, so there's a cost, but lowering the interest rate obviously pays for itself. So there's some immediate value there, but not having to go through and not being able to get all of those bills. Let's say you have 9 creditors, not having to go through the process of trying to get each one of your banks to agree to whatever lower payment that they're willing to give you at that time, whereas you already know what they're going to give the credit counseling agency and for the duration of the repayment of your entire balance. That's pretty cool. If you have just one creditor, just one credit card account, I'm not sure that you're going to get the value, and let's say it's Chase, Bank of America, or Citi, the 3 largest credit card issuers in the country, that offer hardship payment plans for the lifetime of your balance equal to, or in some cases, depending on the situation, even less of a monthly payment than a credit counselor could get you, then obviously there's not going to be the value there for you. But as soon as you have multiple accounts, it becomes a monthly payment that they'll get you that you can't get for yourself. So therein, they pay for themselves as well. There's a lot more to the process and getting your bills paid and the convenience that you can build into that. So by and large, you can tell that I'm a fan of credit counseling, and the fees that they will charge you for it, if there are any, are worth it for virtually most people that enroll in them until they're not. Until your situation changes, and if it does, then you can't afford the plan anyway, or it's not right for you. In years past, this is say 10 or more years ago, and I'll close with this, credit counseling was populated by a lot of for-profit minded people disguised as a non-profit industry, and all of that's pretty much been weeded out. Starting in 2004, 2005, there were heavy IRS audits of every single nonprofit credit counseling agency in the country. There was a lot of consolidation because of the recession, and a lot of things have happened to whittle us down to about 100 national agencies today. So all of the bad actors are gone for the most part, and again, it is a heavily regulated industry. Making the phone call is free. Eliminating the option is the right thing to do to create less headaches for you down the road. And then if you are paying a fee and you enroll in one of those plans, the repayment of your debt, it will pay for itself usually within the first year. Thanks for tuning in. See you on the next video.